I'm Anastasia Chatzka, a fashion designer with over 20 years of experience and a sewing educator. And I'm really excited you're here to share another sewing adventure with me today. Welcome to Sewing Anastasia, and today I'm going to show you how to attach a rib knit cuff. Rib knit cuffs are on so many garments if you go through your wardrobe. They're on your sweatshirts, they're on your hoodies, they're on your bomber jackets, they're on your button-up sports jackets, they're on your joggers, and I bet you even have a dress with a rib knit cuff somewhere as well. So rib knit cuffs can be super tricky to sew because the rib knit is smaller than the piece that you're sewing it into. So follow along and I'm gonna show you all the tips and details that you need to sew a successful rib knit cuff. If you're not already a subscriber to Sewing Anastasia, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when all the new videos come out. Also, I'm now teaching virtual sewing lessons and sewing lessons in person in my studio here in Chicago. Information for that can be found at sewinganastasia.com or click that link down below. Supplies for this are so basic. You're going to need your thread, you're going to need your scissors, and you're going to need your rib knit. For this sample project, I'm going to be using this piece of sweatshirt fleece, and we're going to pretend it's at the bottom of a sleeve. So the first thing we need to do is place right sides together and sew up that underarm seam. So I've got my right sides together, and I'm gonna sew a 1/2 inch seam from end to end. Don't forget to backstitch. Backstitch at the end and cut. So I have my 1/2 inch seam sewn up, so I've got my sleeve here, my fake sleeve that we're gonna use for the rib knit, and maybe you're just attaching some rib knit to something that you already have, so keep following along for how to attach this rib knit. So now grab your rib knit, and we are gonna place right sides together on the length of the fabric. So this is the right side of my rib knit, so right sides together. And you can see this is the length of my rib knit. You can see that the lines are going vertical. So you wanna make sure they're going vertical and not horizontal because the stretch is going that way. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is go ahead and sew this seam up right here. I'm gonna do a 1/2 inch again. Make sure you backstitch and just sew all the way down your seam. If you have a serger, you can also just serge this together. Backstitch and cut. So now we have the cuff and the sweatshirt sleeve, and we need to get these together now. They're gonna go on a date. Now we wanna take our rib knit cuff and fold it wrong sides together. And when we do that, we are gonna have a finished seam on the outside and on the inside. So you're gonna have these two raw edges right here with the seams facing each other. So wrong sides together. So we're gonna set that down. And now what I like to do is take my sleeve and put it right side out. So now we've prepped both of these, and now we just need to put them together. But notice the rib knit is much smaller than the opening of the sleeve. So what we need to do is stretch it so it fits around. You wanna make sure you line up your underarm seam with the seam on the rib knit. Put it on the outside of the sleeve. Okay, so we're gonna line up those seams, make sure your seams are open or serged together, and let's put a pin in there. And now you can see how the inside of the sleeve is way bigger than the rib knit. No worries though, we are going to stretch it and make it fit. So you can stretch it to its max, grab it, and then put a pin in it. And I want you to work your way around the sleeve, stretching it out evenly, holding it, and putting a pin in it. We're gonna stretch it, hold it, we're gonna put one more pin in it. So now we've evenly stretched it and pinned it, and now what we need to do is sew it together. And while we're sewing, we're going to have to stretch that rib knit so that way it fits around the sweatshirt fleece that I'm using. So this can be a little bit tricky, so let's do it. I like to start at the seam. I'm gonna line it up. I'm gonna do a 1/2 inch seam. Make sure you back stitch. I've also engaged my needle down button, so every time I stop, the needle is in the fabric. So now notice how I'm stretching it out so it lines up. I like to hold the back of it. I'm not gonna pull it, but I just like to hold it to make sure it's nice and straight. When you come up to a pin, stop. Move your sleeve in the circle, straighten it out, take out your pin, and give a little stretch. Stop, remove your pin, and flatten it out. Remove your pin and flatten it out. Back stitch and overlap your stitches by a few stitches and cut. That was so easy. Watch, now all we need to do is flip it up and we have a sweatshirt cuff or a jacket cuff. How cool is that? And if you have a serger, this is a great technique to do on the serger, and it keeps all the seams nice and finished looking with that serged edge. If you wanted to clean up this area here that's still raw, you could go ahead and do a zigzag or an overcast stitch on it if you don't have a serger. So easy. Now you don't have to be afraid to attach rib knit to your projects. Thanks so much for watching Sewing Anastasia today. If you have any questions on how to sew a rib knit cuff, make sure you leave it down below and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, give it some applause, and leave a comment down below to let me know what you thought. Also, I would love to see your projects, so make sure you tag me in them or DM me photos so I can share them with everyone else and keep everyone happy and creative and inspired. If you're not already a subscriber to Sewing Anastasia, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when all the new videos come out. Also, I'm on social media on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and Twitter and all those crazy websites, so make sure you follow and let's stay creative and inspired and in touch. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!